Tonight on Newswatch, the total solar eclipse is less than 2 weeks away, but there are concerns with how the rare event could affect air travel and cell service.
Plus, 6 people are still missing in Baltimore as investigators begin to figure out what happened before a container ship crash caused a bridge collapse.
And with Easter just a hop away, we take a look into how one factory continues a holiday tradition. Newswatch starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Haley Swano.
And I'm Donovan Varney. Welcome to Newswatch. We are now less than 2 weeks away from the April 8th total solar eclipse.
And ahead of this out-of-world event, the Federal Aviation Administration is warning travelers in the path of totality to expect some delays. Though the eclipse is the 8th, the FAA says air traffic could be impacted from April 7th till the 10th. The agency says travelers should anticipate delays in limited parking, particularly at smaller airports. Airports affected by the eclipse include Cleveland Hopkins International and airports in 13 other states. Communities across Ohio are also preparing for the April eclipse and the large crowds coming to see the rare event. But some are concerned that the extra people in town could put a strain on cell service.
Verizon spokesperson Jeff Q doesn't think people should worry. Q says the few minutes of sudden darkness and the large crowds won't impact cell service, and points out that cell service is already put to the test for large events like Guardians and Cavs games. While Verizon feels confident phones will work normally, Q says people can switch to Wi-Fi if they have any issues.
Are on it. They've been on it for months as far as preparing for that day. If there is an outage at any point, you can go to a public Wi-Fi spot, switch your phone to Wi-Fi, and then you can text and call based on that too.
Akron Police Captain Dave Laughlin says the department is still preparing for the possibility of cell phone outages and says the department will be fully staffed for the eclipse. But cell service outages are just one of many uncertainties surrounding what the total eclipse day could be like.
Yeah, Donovan, another concern is also that weather and if it will be cloudy for that eclipse. But thankfully for today, as you can see, clouds were no problem at all.
That's right, Haley. You're taking a live look outside as the sun goes down on another beautiful afternoon in Athens. Here with more is forecaster Leah Frizzell.
Well, Leah, Easter weekend's coming. We have the eclipse on its way. Is this nice weather going to stick around for both?
Sadly, it is not. We are going to have a rainy weekend both weekends, so we're definitely not going to be seeing that sunshine.
Yeah.
As for today, though, we did see some beautiful weather out there. 59 degrees for that high today. And we are seeing some cloud cover roll in as we head towards the nighttime hours. However, this definitely won't stick around for much of the night, definitely just seeing us into the sunset tonight. Right now, we're sitting at around 54 degrees out there, and once more, those mostly cloudy skies coming into our area, but as I said, they aren't going to last for very long. And luckily, we aren't seeing those winds that we were seeing last week, so it's a pretty calm night out there tonight. Now, the temperatures tonight are going to get down into the 30s, that 30 for that overnight low tonight, and again, those clear skies heading in to the morning. So while we might not be seeing that eclipse in a couple weeks, we can't see the stars tonight. And as you can see, we can see those cloud covers start to roll into our area here in the mid-afternoon hours, heading into those evening hours that we're soon approaching. But tomorrow, we're going to see another beautiful day, looking at 55 degrees for that temperature high and the low of 36 degrees. And we're going to be seeing those beautifully sunny skies.
The Ohio Supreme Court is considering whether or not pharmacies selling opioids created a public nuisance. The court heard arguments in the case yesterday. It stems from a $650 million judgment against Walgreens, CVS, and Walmart after the companies were sued by Trumbull and Lake counties. The companies appealed the judgment, saying the nuisance laws shouldn't apply.
Ohio University's Heritage College of Osteopathic Medicine has a new way to bring healthcare services to people in Southeast Ohio. Newswatch reporter Rosie Wong has more on the school's smaller clinic that it hopes will have a big impact.
At only 27 feet long, the Heritage College's new mobile clinic may be small, but it has all the equipment needed to see patients. The smaller size means this mobile unit can go to residential areas and roads the two 40-foot clinics cannot. Tracy Schaub, Medical Director of Community Health Programs, says the new unit helps providers meet people where they're at.
We have a lot of people in this area that need health care and maybe don't have access to it or don't have access to transportation. So we're able to take our mobile fleet, this being our smallest one, out to communities.
Athens resident Marsha Willen says the mobile clinic has been an important part of her friend's health treatment that may not have happened otherwise.
She got a mammogram and was diagnosed, and I think she would have put it off another 10 years if she hadn't been diagnosed. And so she's still in treatment, and that was a year and a half, 2 years ago.
With nurses and volunteers on board, the mobile clinics travel to up to 24 counties throughout southeastern and eastern Ohio. Director of Clinical Operations Carol Merkel says the clinic served over 7,000 individuals with $4.4 million worth of services last year.
We don't turn anyone away. So anybody that comes in, we will help them with what their need is for that day.
Residents can expect monthly mobile clinic in the Athens and surrounding counties for primary care based on its schedule available on Facebook or dial 740-593-2432. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Rosie Wong in Athens.
The college encourages individuals to take advantage of this accessible opportunity and also check their Facebook page for when the clinic will be closest to you. Well, a new project is looking to decrease carbon dioxide pollution. Tenaska, a Nebraska-based company, wants to transport that CO2 to underground storage wells in Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. Their proposed solution captures carbon dioxide pollution from industrial facilities before it reaches the atmosphere. But some environmental advocates worry there is still a chance the CO2 can get out and get in the atmosphere. Tenaska plans to submit applications to the EPA in the next month or two for wells in Hancock County, West Virginia. Coming up, new developments out of Baltimore as federal investigators say they have recovered key data from the ship that collided with a bridge in Baltimore.
And abortion rights are taking center stage at the Supreme Court and on the campaign trail.
Well, we're seeing a quick break in the rain for now, but it won't stick around for long when Newswatch returns.
These adorable, seemingly passive fur balls are in fact the ultimate survivors. Within their bite-sized frame lies a fighter, able to outwit the many predators that surround them. From frozen forests to concrete jungles, we take you deep into their changing world. We'll reveal just how remarkable rabbits really are.
Tonight at 8 on WOUB.
There was only two type of jobs for black women, and I had no desire to be either one.
Growing up in the 50s, you could be a nurse, you could be a teacher, you could be a housewife. But those seemed to be sort of limits of women.
I would be in a room with all men, and I got used to it. After a while, it doesn't matter.
It's pretty hard to carry your case unless you're pretty outspoken and pretty stubborn.
I never, ever thought that someday I would be in Congress. No one in our family had ever gone to college or finished high school.
Girls just weren't seen as legacies. So at the end of the day, when he looked around, there was nobody left but me.
My husband's comment to me was, good grief, you're spending every day down there anyway. Why don't you run for mayor? It had nothing to do with being a woman. It was, I knew I could do the job.
Thursday at 9.
Can you imagine getting to be the soloist in the world premiere performance of your own piano concerto with the Boston Symphony Orchestra?
She could take those ideas and create an extraordinary musical fabric. That's the mark of a great artist, truly.
Thursday at 10 on WOUB.
We are following breaking news out of Baltimore. Officials say they have recovered 2 more bodies after a Baltimore bridge collapsed. 4 people still remain missing, all 4 presumed to be dead.
This as federal investigators have begun analyzing the black box data containing critical voyage recordings from the container ship that crashed into the bridge, causing the collapse. Laura Aguirre has more as the National Transportation Safety Board works to bring the final minutes of the catastrophic voyage into focus.
We do have the data recorder, which is essentially the black box. We've sent that back to our lab to evaluate.
Their goal, locking down exactly what happened before the container ship's devastating collision with the Key Bridge. Along with grabbing the black box Wednesday, the NTSB team collected perishable evidence like electronics and documentation. The board's chair says they'll also check for dirty fuel.
It really is something that we look at in all of our investigations, but that would certainly affect the operation of the vessel.
The design of the bridge itself also under close examination after photos circulated showing the possible absence of fenders on support pillars.
I've seen the pictures. Again, we'll want to look at everything that on the structure of the bridge.
The company that manages the vessel, Synergy Marine Group, is connected to at least 3 deadly incidents since 2018, according to authorities involved in those investigations. In 2016, the Dolly was involved in an accident in Antwerp, port officials there confirmed to CNN. Now, the safety records of both the ship and Synergy will be central to the Baltimore investigation.
It may very well turn out that the ship owners are liable.
If any private party is responsible, then they will be held accountable.
An accounting that's coming into clearer focus with each passing day as the NTSB and other agencies piece together this tragic event. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
The NTSB is expected to provide an update on its investigation at 8 tonight. And while the investigation and recovery efforts continue, all vessel traffic through the Port of Baltimore has been suspended, meaning possibly big implications on the already strained supply chain. And U.S. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg warns returning to normal will take a long time and be expensive. Ivan Rodriguez joins us from Atlanta with more on the economic impact from the collapse.
Baltimore ranks #1 among U.S. ports for cars and light trucks. Some economists say that the bridge collapse also threatens to disrupt logistics, especially when it comes to traffic all up and down the East Coast. Car carriers, cargo ships, and cruises halted indefinitely from traveling into and out of the Port of Baltimore.
This has a significant and a seismic impact economically, not just on Baltimore, but on the entire state of Maryland.
The ship that collided with the Key Bridge early Tuesday was carrying cargo. And Maersk, the Danish shipping giant that chartered the vessel, has suspended service in Baltimore for the foreseeable future. Baltimore ranks the 9th largest U.S. port for international cargo. It handled some 52 million tons last year, an impact that Maryland Governor Wes Moore emphasized.
We're talking about $191 million a day of economic activity, 8,000 jobs that are directly related to this.
The city ranks first among U.S. ports that process autos and light trucks, handling a record 850,000 in 2023.
That's not just cars, by the way. That also includes a lot of farm equipment, which is a very important export for the American economy.
Consumers may see an increase in shipping costs, but one leading economist says the goods will be moved through other ports, so the disruptions aren't expected to have much impact on the wider economy. The Secretary of Transportation is worried about the livelihoods of port workers.
If goods aren't moving, they're not getting paid. So we're very concerned for them.
Maryland's governor is already focused on the port's future.
We are going to focus on making sure that we can have an economic recovery that really honors the work that was taking place with the port.
Part of the issue in determining the potential added cost when it comes to shipping is not knowing when this port will reopen. In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Maryland state officials say approximately 14,000 workers are directly impacted, while about 140,000 are indirectly impacted by the collapse.
Tensions are rising between the U.S. and Israel. Now, that divide is showing up in such public ways it's surprising some observers. It's widening because the U.S. wants a ceasefire to protect civilians in Gaza. And today, another sign of this rift is that top Israeli advisors are not in Washington as originally planned. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu canceled the trip because the U.S. abstained from a UN ceasefire resolution vote instead of vetoing it. Now the U.S. is going further and backing it.
Council resolution carries weight and should be respected. We wanted to have that meeting with Israel to present to them an alternative way to accomplish their legitimate security goals.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the U.S. only abstained from the UN vote because the resolution failed to condemn Hamas.
Good evening. And for weather this week, we definitely started off with a little bit of a rainy start. We had pretty rainy conditions yesterday that lasted for most of the day, lightening up around 6 to 7 p.m. And this is what we saw here. We saw this quick moving cold front move across our area, bringing in a lot of moisture, and it left us feeling really cold and really, really rainy. Now, this also left us with some temperatures and some more pleasurable temperatures than what we saw yesterday. So 59 out in Pittsburgh and 42 in Chicago, so definitely a little bit colder as you head up west. 28 in Minneapolis, because of some of those colder temperatures that were still left behind and lingering up in the northwest area. Now here you can see that we're staying pretty dry here in our area. Again, that those leftover showers out towards the east, but here it's looking very good for us and the next couple of days. Now we are seeing some cloud cover move into our area as we head into those overnight hours, but gladly this will move out of our area and dissipate as we head into the morning hours. So you can see around the Indiana-Ohio line, it's starting to form and push across our area, creating it to be some cooler temperatures. Now looking locally, we are very dry out there. There are no clouds giving us that precipitation like what we saw yesterday. Now, what can we expect for the next couple days? Well, tomorrow we're definitely looking at some very nice temperatures because this high pressure system is moving over our area, pushing that low pressure out, giving us these clear sunny skies like what we saw today and what we will see tomorrow. Now, heading into tomorrow, we're watching this area off towards the west. This is actually a little bit of a warm front that's going to move in, and this is actually going to bring us some precipitation into the weekend and for a majority of next week. And you can see how it develops into tomorrow night. It's getting a little bit closer to us, pushing into our region. And again, on Friday is when we're going to start to see the full force of that warm front start to develop those warmer temperatures, but it is going to bring with it a lot of rain. Now heading into tomorrow, we're going to see this high in the 50s, 55 degrees for our high tomorrow, and that low in the 30s, a little bit warmer than what we're going to experience tonight, but still kind of chilly if you have any late night plans for tomorrow. And again, those sunny skies out there again for us. Now heading into our next 3 days, we're looking pretty warm out there, especially into Friday, 63 degrees for that high on Friday. But Saturday is when things start to take a little bit of a turn. We're going to see that warm front move into our area, and next week you can see that we're really going to be experiencing not a lot of sunshine, but a lot of rain. However, these temperatures are going to remain pretty pleasant. So 67 degrees for that high on Saturday and 67 for your Sunday. But we're going to see just a little bit of change, 66 degrees into next week, and it's going to start to get rainy. We're going to start to see those April showers, and hopefully they start to bring some nicer weather.
Thanks, Leah. Abortion rights are being discussed at the Supreme Court and on the campaign trail this week. Yesterday, a majority of Supreme Court justices appeared not so sure of the idea of a nationwide ban on an abortion pill. Julia Benbrook explains how the court responded during oral agreements and how Democrats are hoping the topic will help them rally support this election cycle.
It's the most significant abortion case to land before the Supreme Court since Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2022. Several anti-abortion doctors and medical groups are challenging steps the Food and Drug Administration took to expand access to the abortion pill mifepristone, such as allowing the drug to be distributed through the mail.
Without question, the FDA's actions have made taking chemical abortion drugs less safe.
During oral arguments Tuesday, conservative and liberal justices pressed the abortion pill challengers on why a nationwide ban is needed if doctors involved could simply exercise their own religious and conscientious objections individually. A decision in that case is expected by the end of June or early July. Just hours later, President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris made a rare joint appearance in North Carolina.
The Supreme Court heard a case to gut access to medication that was approved by the FDA 20 years ago to give women a choice.
Biden and Harris are looking to contrast the Democratic ticket's vision for health care and reproductive rights with proposals put forth by Republicans.
Access to health care should be a right and not just a privilege.
Their campaign believes reproductive rights will be a galvanizing issue for voters heading into November's elections. Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Coming up next, we'll have a look at basal cell. We'll have a look at a cancer that is affecting many, many people. And for the latest from Newswatch, follow us on Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, and also our YouTube.
A powerful new technology.
Artificial intelligence.
The possibilities seem endless.
With AI, drugs can be cheaper.
To see where those fires are starting.
But so do the risks.
We're going to live in a world where we don't know what's real.
AI is going to be one of the most fundamentally destabilizing transitions in the history of our species.
AI Revolution on Nova.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
The way humans make sense of the world is through stories. We've got to go ahead and start training to go to Mars.
And liftoff. We pay tribute to all who serve and who have served.
Civilization is precious. Life is precious.
Artists here are making a difference. I'm trying to seek redemption.
Regardless of your stage of life, whether you're starting your first job, getting the keys to a new home, or enjoying retirement, it's never too early or too late to create an estate plan to care for loved ones and support the causes that are meaningful to you. WOUB Public Media is pleased to have partnered with Giving Dogs, a free resource for building an estate plan that fits your needs and protects the people and causes you care about. Visit WOUB.org and click the Support tab to get started today.
Politics is an argument about the future.
Daniel Patrick Moynihan was a diplomat, a politician, and a U.S. senator whose influence over the 20th century is still felt today.
Things are not getting better for everybody.
The war on poverty was planned over spaghetti dinners at the Moynihans.
Equality and liberty are two different things.
See him in action when Moynihan comes to American Masters.
Friday at 9 on WOUB.
According to the Skin Cancer Foundation, there are an estimated 3.6 million new cases of basal cell carcinoma diagnosed every year in the U.S. But when it's caught early, most cases are curable. Mandy Gaither shows what this type of cancer looks like on skin and explains how to protect yourself from it.
It's the most common type of skin cancer, but basal cell carcinoma is also one of the most easily cured when detected and treated early.
Often because they present without any significant major issues, like it's not necessarily painful. Oftentimes they can be ignored.
Basal cell carcinoma can look different from one person to another. These pictures from the Skin Cancer Foundation show the warning signs, including an open sore that doesn't heal, a shiny bump or nodule that can also be pearly or clear or another color and can be mistaken for a normal mole. A scar-like area that is flat, white, yellow, or waxy in color, a reddish patch or irritated area, and a small pink growth with a slightly raised rolled edge and a crusted indentation in the center. Sun-exposed areas are where these cancers are most often found, says dermatologist Susan Masick with The Ohio State University's Wexner Medical Center.
Places like the face, and particularly the nose, the lips, the ears, but anywhere on the face is fair game, as well as sun-exposed areas on the arms and the hands, as well as the upper shoulders and back.
Masick says to protect skin by wearing sun protective clothing, using sunscreen every day, reapply it every 2 to 3 hours, sooner than that if you're sweating or swimming, and replace sunscreen every year. An expired product may not offer as much protection. And if you find anything on your skin that's new or changing, see a doctor. For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
The Skin Cancer Foundation says tanning beds are never a safe option for skin. The organization says indoor tanning increases your risk of basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma, and melanoma. Still ahead, with Easter on Sunday, we hop on over to Germany for a look inside one of the oldest egg dye factories in the world. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Jack Teixeira pled guilty to all 6 counts he faces.
Talking to Jack's friends, the internet was a huge part of his life.
We spoke about conspiracies and how we distrusted government.
Should the military vetting process have caught all of these aspects of his personality?
The vetting system is pretty robust, but it's not perfect. There were countless missed opportunities, and as a result, we have one of the worst leak cases in modern times.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
Times are changing.
Every nut and bolt, you know its breaking point, but the humans have not been quantified.
I'm here to serve, I'm here to learn, I'm here to grow, and so whatever happens, just remember that.
I was diagnosed with Parkinson's at 39.
You never know what's going to happen if you don't give up.
Holding it together is more exhausting than the disease itself.
You might live.
You have to hunt. If you don't do subsistence activities, you die.
It connects us to our past.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
Finally tonight, brightly colored Easter eggs are a holiday staple, and dyeing them is an old-age tradition for workers at one of the oldest egg dyeing factories in Germany. The machines at the chicken farm run around the clock in the days leading up to Easter, boiling and dyeing up to 800,000 eggs every day. The demand is so high that the factory has to hire seasonal workers just to keep up. And they're not the only ones working hard. The farm also has about 120,000 hens that lay almost 1 egg a day. The eggs are then loaded into an egg stove before the food coloring is added. Workers then seal them up while they're hot, which gives them a longer shelf life. Man, I have not dyed Easter eggs in a couple of years, but I love dyeing Easter eggs. It's so fun.
I used to love them so much growing up. My favorite ones to do were always pink.
Same. Donovan, color?
Yeah, my favorite was blue. I had to do the blue.
Colors for wearing.
Yeah.
Blue is good too.
How's the weather looking as we have spring approaching and also Easter?
Well, it's definitely not looking favorable. It's going to be kind of rainy heading into Easter, but into tonight we're going to be seeing some cooler temperatures, 30 degrees out there for us tonight, and we will be seeing those mostly clear skies as we head into the morning hours. Tomorrow, 55 degrees for that high, so definitely a nice day again tomorrow.
Well, that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Leah Frizzell, I'm Haley Swano.
And I'm Donovan Varney. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org or follow us on social media. Have a great night.
Support comes from Vinton County National Bank,